Welcome back to the Land Journals, Episode 8, and the last in the series of getting started with nature journaling. If you've followed along and started a journal or a morning practice in a sketchbook, or taken weekly walks outdoors to be inspired to draw or write these past 8 weeks, congratulations! You're off to a great start. This week I was birded close to home and very early in the morning. I saw one of my favorite winter resident owls, the short-eared owl, on our local grasslands. With some gesture drawings and a few more detailed sketches of the owl as it sat in the tussocks of winter grass, I took this work home to begin a new composition in my nature journal. It was a lot warmer at home than the 15-degree morning I saw that short-eared owl. I used my field sketches to help me compose and draw the owl both sitting in the grass and in flight. Their flight pattern is unique to owls, and once you learn to recognize it, it's easy to see this Arctic visitor as it flies moth-like on long wings over a winter field or marsh. I depend on my Arctic field guides to learn more about our winter residents and why they choose the mid-Atlantic fields and marshes and waterways to spend the winter with us. Short-eared owls migrate along the coast from Labrador and Quebec, or inland along lake shores, rivers, and open land where they can find plenty to eat in habitats not yet frozen over or snowed under. I love its flight pattern, and I want to make this a feature of my pages. I rely on my reference photos to help envision the habitat and the colors I want to use. People may not think these pictures of grass are all that amazing, and who takes pictures of grass anyway? But you know now that those reference photos contain a lot of important information. I want to save space for my notes, and of course I include the location, the date, and the weather data as always. But for fun, I'd like to use that flight pattern along the directional line for some specific notes about their flying. I really love that sitting owl, so I'll develop the tussocks of grass around her and save that space below the flight pattern for more detailed notes on the owl. I think this little sketch turned out pretty nicely. Going back through this journal, which I started in May, I'm reminded of how extraordinary places, plants, animals, and landscapes are, and how lucky I am to be able to capture even just a little bit of this year's discoveries in this book. In this series, we've talked about starting a daily practice, and it's really those 15 to 30 minutes a day that give me the confidence to construct these journals. I learn by doing, so by drawing and writing, and then there's the time I spend outdoors. I try to do a hike every week. The research time I devote to specific species or geographies I encounter, and of course, the composition and illustrating too. All of this is part of the practice of nature journaling. As we finish these journals, or if you're like me and have several going on at the same time, they become part of an important chronicle of the changes we witness and observe in the natural world around us. We draw, paint, write, and reflect on our experiences with many kinds of landscapes and species, and this helps us find our place in the ecological community that we're all part of. I'll be heading out soon for my Christmas time camp out in the South, and taking some more weekly hikes to parks and conservation lands after I get home. So for now, there's a bit of a break before I start up again in the next series of 8 videos, which will focus on geology, geography, and landscape. Until then, keep your morning practice, go on some good walks and hikes, and I'll see you again in a few weeks. Thank you so much for coming along and watching my first series in the Land Journals. Keep up your practice, and I'll see you later this winter. Bye for now.